begin. My name is Paul Duplex from the Training and Development team here at Labour Party Head Office. And I'm going to be your host this afternoon for about the next 35 minutes, looking at and reviewing our general election campaign. It's about actually on the ground, how you review the campaigns that you've done locally, and also at the end, as a way that you can contribute to some of the review and the savings that we're undertaking with regards to the training team and also some of the campaign technology as well. But also everything that you see to me tonight will also be, this afternoon, will also be fed back into the teams as well if you have any of the wider comments as well. But obviously we do know since December the 12th, that was such a devastating result, not just for the Labour Party, but also for the country and those many people that would rely on and needed a Labour government. And so today's session is to look at a little bit about our campaigns. We're going to look at some of those things that you've done well locally, what you've done well, share those best practices, those good ideas, what could be better, and what other areas of improvement that you may need locally, and how we can help here at Labour Party Head Office. It's not just about waiting until the next 4 or 5 years, the next general election, to look in, obviously, further, we'll be looking at some of the elections that we've got this year, and over the next couple of years as well, part of that rebuilding of our movement as well. Also, so we're going to look at a little bit where we are about that result, a little bit mention about some ideas about SWOT, using the SWOT analysis, look at about some of the communication, some of the questions that you can ask as well, with regards to your print, your digital, your delivery networks, member mobilisation, campaign technology, use of fundraising and endorsers as well. And obviously we all have to put that into that context of, obviously we knew, we suspected that a general election could have happened at any time, but obviously it was still a snap general election, and how we can be prepared as well, and take that into context that you are our volunteers as well, and you obviously do a fantastic job. But it's obviously just been on a perpetual election fund since 2017 as well. Sometimes a little bit difficult to sustain as well. So actually one of the reasons why we review is obviously identify as a weakness, areas that we need support, and also further development. Might be within your CLP, within your branches, might be within your boroughs or your wider area. All of that, I think should reflect upon with an open mind. To start with, not trying to go blame any one individual or any particular groups. It's about getting together with a blank sheet of paper and looking back and looking at it objectively as well. Some of the guidelines and some of the discussion points, we will be sending you a PDF of the slides, and you can use some of these as a guideline to actually sort of frame your local decisions as well. What I would say is trying to use, when you're looking back on stuff, use facts rather than generalization. Just sort of don't just say like, I think all our leaflets went out. Try and actually measure it a little bit. Go back to deliveries. Did they manage to get all the leaflets out on time as well? Did you get all your direct mail out, etc.? Using that sort of like facts rather than generalization. Also, we'll be looking ahead a little bit. Something, develop some local goals and some sort of strategic milestones as well. And within that, I'll mention a little bit about a constituency development plan and how you can use your review to frame your constituency development plan going forward as well. As I mentioned there, it's not about apportioning blame, but it is about being honest with each other as well. Do that as well. As I say, look, these are the results. We've seen them many times before now. Since there, that's the top bit of there is our 2017 where we were. Labour went down from 262 to 200 seats. The Tories went up from 317 to 365. SNP up from 35 to 48. Lib Dems down -1. Plaid stayed the same. Green stayed the same as well. Vote share for Conservatives 43.6, ours 32.2. And then obviously we've got some of the swings there on the right hand side as well. So yes, that's where we are, and we could look at lots of other places to get that. There are some of the seats that we gained. Well, one seat that we gained was Putney and Labour's in red there in the bottom corner. Other seats there that we've lost to the SNP and to Tories as well. That's where they all are, wide across the country as well. Bower and Burnett, all the way up to Wrexham and Worthington, Wolverhampton, Stoke, Redcar. A lot of the seats that you will be familiar with in the days since December the 12th as well. So, as part of the review, I think it's important obviously that we do recognise where we are. But let's have a look at in your local literature that you put out. What was your communication? And maybe you also will have different issues, because it might be that when your candidate was in place for a couple of years, or was in place only for a few months, or even a few days before the election was called as well. Did you have a strap line? Did you know what the local issues were? You don't need to have a candidate to be in place to actually know what your local strap line might be, to know what your local messages are. What are the local issues that you've identified that you were going to campaign on in the run-up to the election, and what you're then going to put on your leaflets, what you're going to put on your direct mail, what you're going to put on your digital as well. Did those messages, were they resonating not just with Labour supporters, but with actually Labour voters? There's one thing when we're doing our review is actually sometimes we can slip into that habit of we write our leaflets and we write our communications for Labour supporters and for Labour members, not actually for potential Labour voters who are a little bit undecided or might be voting Lib Dem or someone else this time as well. So think about the communications, think about what was written, think about the processes of sign-off as well. How did you identify local issues? How did you create and write the copy for them as well? Did you have a communications plan? Great. Would you now then have one in place for the local elections going forward as well? How would you test messages out on the doorstep? What is it that you're going to do to find out now going forward? We know next general election probably 2024, 2025. There's no imminent threat of another general election. So over the longer term, what can you do to identify some longer term issues in your local CLPs areas? Also, part of that with communication, to review your print. Think about what items did you do? Did you do some direct mail? Did you just do one leaflet? Did you just do one free post? Did anything receive any positive comments from voters? Did you have a print plan in place? Did you have a budget in place for these elections as well? Also, the free posts, people use a lot of stock images. You could think about now, where you might have new members who've joined or existing members. Think about building up a local image library as well. Whatever you can do to localize your communications, your print, digital, whatever, it's really important. Did you use direct mails? Direct mails can be hand delivered, don't have to be all posted out as well. It's a good way of getting your message across and getting it in front of people as well. GOTPV, get out the postal vote. What is it that you did to target particular Labour Party postal voters or get people on to a postal vote as well? Sometimes we leave that too late until the middle of an election campaign. That should be something that you could be doing all year round as well. Did you have enough GOTV, get out the vote? Did you have enough literature polling day? Did you have enough for a morning drop or the day before? If you understand what that is, some CLPs that I worked with had leaflets that were going out on the Monday, Tuesday, reminding people to vote Thursday. They then had ordered leaflets, had enough deliverance for people to then deliver a leaflet before 8 o'clock to target Labour voters. So people were out delivering leaflets from 5 o'clock, 5:30 in the morning, right the way up until 7:30, 8 o'clock, and then went on to another two. They had a good morning leaflet, then they had another vote today leaflet, and then they had a time is running out leaflet. Did you have all of that as well? Did you have the capacity to do that? Did you have the money to do that? Would you think about doing something like that differently in the future as well in your campaigns? As I mentioned earlier, reviewing your delivery network. did all of your leaflets go out? Sometimes, for the best will in the world, someone might have forgotten to deliver that, a box or two, or a couple of bags of leaflets, or some direct mail. It might just be, hidden under the stairs or something else like that. Did you have enough people to deliver leaflets rather than sometimes relying on people to get, deliver 500, 600 leaflets themselves or 1,000 leaflets? What is there that you can do now to ask people to help deliver, help delivery networks, set up road groups as well? If you don't know what road groups are, email me at training@labour.org.uk. So making sure you do have road groups set up on Contact Create as well, that you have the names of those people who are your regular deliverers and commit to a round as well. Think about this year going forward. If you have got the money or whatever it is, but were you ambitious enough in how many leaflets you could get out? Could you, over a 6-week campaign, could you deliver 3 leaflets to everyone within your constituency, or could you only get 1 out and that went to everyone, or could you've got more out? Could you've got 3 leaflets out, 2 direct mail out as well to people? Who was responsible for the writing, photography, of all of your printed materials? What's the sign-off process? Did that work? Was it too long? Was it too short? Was it not good enough? Did it miss some things as well? If you were using, and I know there were some issues with our print platform, Connect. Obviously, we've taken on board that. We are reviewing that. Obviously, some issues that, obviously, a lot of issues that we did have. But are people able to use Connect as well? What's the training that needs for people as well? But also, do you know and have a good local printer that you might rely on as well to produce some materials as well? Also, if you're going forward, if you've got local elections at the moment, have you put together a print plan as well? And make sure that you do a little tip for everyone. Every time you do drop some leaflets off to someone, obviously give them a little letter with that thanking them for delivering those leaflets, giving them a date of actually when you want them delivered by as well. If they can't meet that date, then tell them to get back in touch with you as well. There's nothing worse than leaflets going out later during the campaign as well. So think about those things as well. And it might be that, should be that you might have a campaigns officer, but obviously you might need to create other roles to support your campaigns officer, which is someone to lead on the print, someone to lead on the technology, someone to lead on the delivery networks as well. Just getting out, 35,000 leaflets to be delivered it's quite a big operation, as I know as a local organiser before, to try and get that out to people as well. Think about your use of digital during the campaign as well. Did your own local media work as well? Did you promote at all? If you did, how effective were the adverts? Which campaigns worked well? Which didn't? Which type of creatives worked well? Did you have a budget for your digital campaigning? If you've got a new MP elected, do the Building Lights campaign to their Facebook page. You've got a new MP or the MP's got re-elected, do a likes campaign for their Facebook page now as well. How quickly could you build and get out your digital adverts as well? Do you have a digital communications plan going forward? Who's in charge of that? What is it that you do? What's worked well? What could be better? Did you use enough video? Do you put on subtitles to it? And think about things as well. Member mobilisation is something else that I wanted to touch upon. Think about how many people that you did have during the whole campaign who were door knocking, how many people would just deliver leaflets, or how many people would attend street stalls and do all 3, or just do 2 out of those 3. Well, who within the CLP has that responsibility to build attendance for your mobilisation, for your events, for your campaigning, for your for your door knocking sessions, your Super Saturdays, etc. Did you do it? Did you have emails going out at a branch level or at a CLP level? What worked? More people respond to it from the candidate or someone else. Did you follow up those people who volunteered and said that they were going to attend something on the events tool? Was there a system in place that they were then getting emails were they then getting a phone call as well, reminding them to come to that particular campaigning event. There's training offered as well for those who might be new to the campaigning. Did you use some of the party tools to organise, to get out in touch with people, using Chatter, organise? Did you put events on the events tool as well? Did you have a campaign launch as well? If you didn't, think about if you've got a local election, would you might have a campaign launch this side as well? Think about how many people you had on polling days as well, how many people from your local area, how many people were being shipped in to come and help. How are you going to, what have you done now to, have you know, people might have signed in on the day, have you got back in touch with people? Have you had that thank you party? It's still not too late to do this, but you know, have you stayed in touch with people? Have you actually brought them in, etc.? And what support is it that you could need from us or your regions and helping you to do this as well? So please get in touch with us. We're at training@labour.org.uk as well. Campaign technology. So I'm just moving where the you can see my screen there. So sorry for any confusion on that. As I mentioned, a lot of different Labour Party technology platforms. We have Organise, Contact Creator, Connect, and other ones, platforms like, you know, Promote. Who takes responsibility in your sales-based Contact Creator? Do other members need training as well? Do they need further support? Was there a system in place where sheets were coming back and being inputted, where issues came up on the doorstep? Was there a system in place to feed them back to the candidate team or feed it back to your councillors as well? Did you get your polling stations up to date on Contact Creator? And also, have you inputted the mark register or ordered the mark register and started the process getting it inputted as well? Also, from us here as the training team, we put together a snap general election guide. Did you find it useful? Did it cover enough or did it not cover enough? Did you join any of the webinars that we did during the election campaign? Did you find them useful? Did you share them with other people? Did you watch the recordings? What other resources from us would you find helpful that will actually help you train more people locally as well? You know, what is this? Have you done some training needs surveys of your local members? Have you pinpointed them to directed them? So we use Achieve, which is our e-learning platform. Some ideas for going forward is actually a thank you campaign, some activity around the leadership contest. Obviously, that's been announced on the 4th of April, so look out for some activity taking place in a couple of weeks after that in the run-up to the local elections as well. Obviously, some people who might have voted, who might have needed lists on the day, have they actually been asked, gone back to them and said, oh, look, think about getting a postal vote. As I said, I mentioned about obviously ordering your mark register as well. So yeah, think about that as well. If you've got local elections as well, you know, think about a postal vote campaign for people who might have voted at these general elections. We also might want them to vote at the local elections if you've got those coming up as well. Other things to review about, if you have your local agents, they get enough legal advice and support given to the agents during the campaign. Do they have enough support with their expenses reporting as well? Do they use the legal hotline? Could they come back to us as well? You need to ask your agent that as well, but also think about as the agent training other people who might want to be agents in the future as well. It might be we've got local elections as well. So rather than just being that one person in your sales team who does it or that does it all the time, is there other people who could step forward and do it in other circumstances as well? Also, quick other things, to use endorsers during the campaign. If not, think about that for the future. Think about people who are genuinely community-minded people who like members of the Labour Party, but they have a good story to tell, and actually why they would be good people to put on leaflets in the future to endorse Labour's candidates as well. If you had any visits, if you would target seats, or even if your candidate went out visiting places where worked well, were they organised well? Did you get what did you get out of it? Did it actually have an impact? Did you get some local news coverage? Well, that you can develop a better relationship possibly with your local media, with some of the your local online forums, as well as some of your traditional print media as well. Think about your fundraising. Is there something that you can do now that support the local elections coming through? There seems to be that increase in membership. Do something which is a little bit of a social, a little bit of a fundraiser as well to get people together. Have you got a fundraising plan that will last you throughout the year, between now and next Christmas? You might have used a building, you might have a building. Would that fit the purpose as well? Do you have enough? Is it a good enough building? Ask yourself these questions as well, part of that review in your local area. As I mentioned there, we as a training team, there's 4 of us in the party head office in the training team. There's some questions there about our training bulletin, about our webinars, about Achieve, our platform. Also, please just do take the time and let us know a little bit about what further training and support you would like to receive within your branches and within your CLPs. It'd be really good to hear from you on that. Equally, our campaign technology team, who look after contact creator, doorstep app, promote, turnout. They have a survey as well that you can fill out as well and let you know their views as well. So please do take the time to fill those out and send them on to other people within your local branches and CLP as well. Looking forward this year, that's part of your review, but also please bear in mind a couple of things that are happening. As I say there, these local elections are taking place in 2020. 34 metropolitan boroughs, 22 unitary authorities, 62 district councils, 4 metro mayors, the Mayor of London and Assembly elections, 3 local authority mayors, 40 police and crime commissioners in England and Wales. So, big opportunity for us to actually sort of make, get out there, get campaigning again, show that the Labour Party isn't beaten, show that we're still out there fighting for those communities that we're seeking to represent. Well, so please, when people say, oh, well, the elections, 4 or 5 years ago, you can make that huge difference now for these important elections coming up. Well, obviously, we'd also have a new leader. Well, for whoever that is, we want them to get off to a good start by not losing those elections, as winning as many as we can. Well, going forward. Also, think about what you can do to engage your membership through the leadership contest. And if you visit our leadership hub there, that's the link through there. All the information about applying for tickets, going to some of the hustings that take place, but also finding the feeds as well to watch them live. We might invite some of your newer members to get together with you and watch those hustings as well together as well. But also, obviously, we've got nomination meetings coming up as well. That's a good chance to engage newer members as well. You'll have some membership surveys as well. Get in touch with them. Make sure that people are wearing name badges as well and introducing themselves to the officers, the elected members, and whoever they are. Make sure that they go around their network with new members who might be the first meeting that they're going to come to as well. So just a reminder there, your ballot's open on the 21st of February, goes on the 2nd of April. Well, when you are engaging with some of the new members, think about using face-to-face, one-to-ones. Fantastic. Use as many as you can do them, as many as you can. Think about phone calls to members as well. Emails as well. Obviously, you get so many emails. It's easy not to respond to some of them as well. You might just do something in a post to people. You might have some specific meetings or social events to new members, or some training events or membership surveys as well. Lots of different things to communicate with some of your new members or some of the new members who are joining as well. As I mentioned there, we have an example of a consistency development plan. There might be something that you want to review your general election, and you have a review of what you're going to do for this year. You have a plan. You then put it together. You take it then to your general committee or your members' meeting, however you want it. Put forward there to agreed by your EC, and actually put some goals and put some targets on for this year for what you'd like to achieve. These are just some of an example of it. We've got other examples, another example of it on that, using that link as well. And it's then adopted by the CLP and the EC, and it gives you a good framework to go forward in the year and allocate roles and responsibilities to people. As I mentioned earlier, to find out a little bit about Achieve, which is our e-learning platform, please do visit achieve.labour.org.uk. You'll find on there, you can see the time convenient to you, some really good things about door knocking on there, an introduction to the Labour Party, and we're going to put some role holder guidance up on there as well. So please have a look at it, achieve.labour.org.uk. Also, but please do give us your feedback on it. We just launched it just a little bit over 6 months ago, just before conference. And within that, obviously there's more to put on there, but also let us know what you think works well, what could be better. But we look forward to hearing from you on that. So mutual contact. Get in touch with us at the training@labour.org.uk or visit labour.org.uk/training. Visit Achieve as well. Any issues with Organise, get in touch with the Organise team, our development team and fundraising team, our legal hotline team there as well. But also, if you're to give them a ring, you can get in touch with the campaign technology team or the Labour Party membership team as well. They can put you through to other people within the organisation as well. Finally, some other links, role holder and other descriptions of our training pages. Make sure that you do. If you're a new role holder, you have an AGM coming up, make sure that you do just get in touch with our membership team and update who does what within your branch and CLP. There's the information about the development plan, governance and legal unit in our hub there. And if you want to sign up to receive our training email, there's a link to that as well. As I said, I'll send you the link to get a recording and a PDF of all of the slides as well for today's session. That's it from me. If you do have any questions, please pop them on the chat there now. And we've been very quiet, but it's been great that so many of you have joined me on this afternoon session as well. So, but please email me at training@labour.org.uk if there is any further questions. Okay, that's it, I think, from me. Just want to say thanks a lot again, everybody, and good luck with all of your campaigning going forward. Thank you. Bye-bye.